The way I get him to shut up these days, I just go, Steve, you talk too much on text. All right. All right. And
Yeah.
yeah, hey,
Hey,
welcome
what's
back
going
to
on, y'all?
how's it
Welcome
Welcome to
back,
the
going?
NBA
everybody.
podcast on your favorite streaming services.
This is exactly how the second episode always starts out. It's just like mumbling and like, all right, hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Contested NBA podcast. I'm Max Tepper,
I'm Ethan Cope.
Alex Toma.
and let's just get it over with. All right,
The
so we got
fuck,
some
man.
news. So, dude, whatever, move on. So we're gonna cover some news real quick, mostly around coaching, all around coaching, and then we'll get into a preview about what we can expect to see in the finals between the Lakers and
Predictions.
the Heat. Yeah, predictions, things to look out for, everything in between. So let's start out with news. The biggest news as of recently would be the Clippers and Doc Rivers have parted ways. Whether Doc quit or the Clippers fired him, whatever. Point is, Doc is out, and there are a good amount of vacancies around the league. And I mean, Doc is a good coach; he can definitely fill one of those vacancies. And then you have the Clippers vacancy, so we'll hand it over to the Clipper fan. Let's see what his breakdown of this whole thing is.
What a do,
Uh,
Alex.
what did you do?
Do Alex?
Um, so I'll just get into Doc, right? That's what I'm doing right now. Okay.
Oh God.
Um, I mean, it was the right thing to do. Like, dude had to go after, like, and his poor coaching performance. It wasn't just in the bubble. It was kind of like an accumulation of the whole season. I mean, he played Trez heavy minutes all year. He played Lou heavy minutes all year. And at the end of the day, those guys just couldn't be in a playoff rotation because if they're not scoring, they provide nothing else to you. Lou Will doesn't defend. Trez doesn't defend. I think Lou Will's more of a like if Lou Will wants to pass, he can, but Trez is like absolutely reluctant. Like he just dude only has energy on offense. He gets this reputation as an energy guy, but the only time he has energy is when he's scoring and worried about himself. But before I get into Doc, like you could do a lot worse than Doc. Like Doc is not a bad coach. I don't think he's the most overrated coach in NBA history. If you ask me, like looking back on his tenure with the Clippers, it felt like it was 7 years. It felt long as hell. Um, Honestly, the only like inexcusable losses he had, in my opinion, were the both 3-1 leads against Houston in 2015 and then against Denver this year. Looking back at it as a fan, Lob City was never truly a championship team. I know might, you guys might think otherwise. I don't know, but I mean, Chris Paul as your best player and Blake Griffin as your second best player is not championship material. Like when you look back at it, obviously, maybe in the moment, everyone liked that combination, but
I would disagree. I mean, that's not the
um,
point of this, but I would just say, like, I think talent-wise, they had
I think
something with
talent-wise, they were a
potential.
championship team.
They had something with potential.
yeah,
They definitely could have won a championship with that team. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but in the West, when you're going up against like teams that have KD, like teams that have Steph,
Yeah.
the Spurs that have Kawhi, like they never had that player that could go toe to toe with someone that good. I mean, Chris
Mm-hmm.
Paul, as great as he is, 6 feet tall, he's a point guard. He can only do so much. And in my opinion, the only way for Lob City to ever become a true championship contender was for Blake to become a top five player. And he actually did, like one of those years. He was
Yeah,
like in that top five player range. He was an MVP. That was probably their best year to win the chip, but it didn't get done. But I think Doc Rivers got like a little too much hate from like Clipper fans. I mean, NBA Twitter is a shit show.
Mm.
I mean, I don't
Twitter is just
Twitter is
yeah.
just a shit show. But I mean, he had to go. Like his coaching in the Dallas series was awful. Um, and his coaching in the Denver series was awful. And you fire him because he knew what was right. It was obvious who should be playing and not be playing, and he was just too loyal to the players he like rode with throughout the season. Um, and I'm gonna just read this real quick from the Athletic. It's one part in an article. It's written by Johan Buha. Booyah, I think that's how you say his name. But anyways, is
Booyah.
Booyah, yeah. So in this article it says a common criticism from some within the team, inside and outside the locker room, was Harrell's energy and effort was only consistent on the offensive floor. And then meanwhile, Rivers maintained publicly to the media and privately to his staff and the organization that Harrell was a better player compared to Zubac, despite the evidence. And I mean, he cost them the Denver series. His coaching was 100% a fireable offense, and I don't think he could have came back after his second collapse as a Clippers coach. I mean, and in the article it says he had a meeting with Steve Ballmer, and Doc said the team wasn't good enough. I mean, that's just bullshit.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I don't buy that.
that's bullshit.
Especially
But
when you shorten your
Steve Ballmer
rotation.
said the team wasn't good enough.
no, Doc said the team wasn't good enough.
He said this Clippers team wasn't good enough to win a championship.
Yeah, sources say when he met with Ballmer, they were talking about why they lost and what the future holds regarding Doc's job, and he was like, "I don't think the team was good enough and had too many flaws." And the
What
flaws
the fuck?
the flaws that it did have could have easily
What
been
his
solved.
fault?
That's all I'm saying. The flaws that, like, obviously it's not all on Doc. Yes, Kawhi,
Well,
PG played like shit in Game 7. And before you go, Max, the
yeah.
biggest stat. So when you add up all the scores, like from all 7 games between Denver and Clippers,
Oh, this is a great stat. I already know what it is.
yeah, Denver. So it was. I think it was. When you add up all the scores, it was something like 725 to like 720. Like it was some. It was that close, but in the minutes that Trez played, they were a minus 50. So like he was such a detriment that like
That's tough.
you just gotta bench him, man. Like I understand it might be tough, like 6 man of the year. Like it's not normal to probably bench your 6 man of the year in a playoff series.
Nope.
But I mean, as a head coach, that's what you have to do.
That's
And
what you do.
you said this, Max, in the group chat, which we refer to all the time, but Doc Rivers' job was to maximize the potential of this roster, and he absolutely did not do that. So
Right.
I felt this firing was 100% like fair.
And also, I was seeing on Twitter, like, when the news came out today, that, like, everyone was like, oh, the Clippers are falling apart. Like, no, that was literally the best thing they could have done right now.
Like, and also one more thing, like people on like the sports shows every day, they're like, oh, Kawhi and PG cost Doc his job. The team, it's like,
No, what?
yeah, they played like shit. And like even like Magic, the great Magic tweeted, he was like, wow, PG and Kawhi cost Doc his job. Is like did he?
Magic Johnson, by the way, for anyone that
Infamous tweets
is not
always.
his like just great tweets. They're not great tweets, but they're like just amazing in how like just plain they are.
And it's
he
like,
doesn't offer any analysis. Like it's just
I know,
I know.
but it's just I
he
find
basically
it hard.
writes the box
Yeah.
score.
I find it hard, man, that like a lot of people like recognize what the issue was, but like everyone on these sports shows, like they don't mention it. Like Vince Carter, player person turned analyst, was like, you have to run it back with Doc, keep the continuity. It's like, do y'all not
No,
see
you
what
don't.
happened? Like, come on. And
I think they want to give Doc, the benefit of
listen,
the doubt, which I understand.
Doc's
Give
great.
me Vince
Yeah.
Carter's fucking job.
Yeah,
I'll
facts,
work
but
that shit.
I mean, Doc is well respected in the media, and one thing, like during the Sterling situation, Doc gets a lot of credit for what he did. Like when the Sterling situation happened, Doc was like in control of that franchise,
Yeah.
and he deserves credit for that. That's why he was like so emotional after they won Game 7. Like that meant a lot to him and that franchise with the whole thing. But hey, it's a results business.
Yeah. I mean, you covered all the bases. I wouldn't, and one of the big arguments that we had in the group chat yesterday was the only big argument really was about whether this was on Doc, on Trez. I think I don't know if it's 100% on them, but you look at the numbers and it's like there's definitely a huge portion of it that is on that, and
Like,
you can't ignore that.
I think
And
a
you have to
majority of it
restrict-
is on Doc.
Yeah.
And you have to restrict Trez's minutes. And this is the problem with the Houston Rockets is that they rely too much on analytics, right? They
Mhm.
rely too much on and Doc kind of relied like, this is my six man,
Yeah,
and the
it's
Rockets
just,
are like, these are the analytics. But
yeah.
when you're in the situation, when you're in the middle of the game, you don't have time to look at all that. You have to make those adjustments, and that's the hard part about
And
being a coach. And Doc didn't
yeah,
succeed
and
in
Doc was
that.
not very reactionary like to anything in that series. The greatest tweet I sent you was it was like before Luca hit the game winner. It's like some dude tweeting a whole timeline. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
why is Reggie in? Okay, foul to give. They subbed out Lou, but why is Reggie still in?
put anyone on him.
Yeah,
Anyone.
and then the last tweet is just Mavericks win.
Final. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
God.
that's
Yeah.
tough.
I mean, Doc changed the Clippers shirts, the Clippers coaching team shirts before he changed the rotation.
Yeah,
That should show you something.
100%. The salmon poles were good up until Game 7.
Yeah, you got to hand it to him. So, the Clippers have a vacancy. I think Ty Lue is probably going to take over for that.
I
I
either
could see
want
that
yeah,
happening.
I either want Ty Lue or someone like outside the organization. A name
Yeah.
that's interesting that wasn't brought up is Stan Van Gundy, and I think he's modernized enough because you saw what he did in Orlando. He had like all those shooters with Rashard Lewis, a stretch four, Turkoglu, Jameer Nelson, and Dwight in the middle. I think he's an interesting option, but I think it's Ty Lue, and if it's not Ty Lue, I want someone outside the Clippers staff.
Right. Ty Lue would probably be a good. I mean, people tend to like him a lot for some reason, and I think
Uh,
that's a little strange.
the rep on him is that he's a really good X and O's coach, and he'll get up in players' faces. Like if Ty Lue was coaching the Clippers in that series, you better believe like he's going up to Trez and saying, "What the fuck are you doing on defense?" Like
All right.
This dude cursed out LeBron in Game 7 of the finals.
That's hard.
Like like
That's good.
yeah, that's good. Like that's what
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah, you
Doc's
need a coach that's gonna
yeah,
assert himself like
and
that.
Doc Rivers has the rep as like a player friendly coach, which is like good, but in this scenario, he was like too friendly and too loyal.
You can't always be friends with your players.
Yeah.
It's not what you're there
Yeah.
to do. You know?
I mean,
Mhm.
ultimately, if you're a basketball player and you're trying to win a championship, and you're not changing your game in any way to fit
Mhm.
the matchup, and you deserve to be benched, but you refuse to go to the bench. I mean, you shouldn't be playing in the NBA, or you
Playoffs
shouldn't
are
be playing
adjustments.
for a team with a championship aspirations.
Yeah.
So then let's move on to the other big coaching vacancy, which was actually filled, which would be the Chicago Bulls after the Thunder and Billy Donovan decided to part ways. Billy Donovan quickly found a job in Chicago. I mean, I don't have anything negative to say. I just don't know much about what Billy Donovan can do. But I think overall, I only see this being a positive. And obviously, I think the Bulls are going to make the playoffs next year.
Bulls.
The Bulls can make the playoffs in the East.
I was gonna say. I
I don't
mean,
think so.
I also don't know a lot about Billy Donovan. I mean, he's coached KD, like he's coached Westbrook and PG, NCP, like had talented teams. But I think this year we could like really see what he's about with a young Bulls team.
Hmm.
I think it'll be because he was a college coach before,
Yeah,
and
so
what
he's
he was
good
able
with
to
young players.
exactly.
Yeah,
So, and I mean that Bulls team. I mean they're really talented. They really are.
they're talented.
It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. It's. I mean,
All right.
I
I
mean,
gotta admit,
Levine, Markkinen.
it's.
Markkinen was really
I
not that good
definitely
this
think they
year.
have enough talent to make the playoffs in the East, especially with Levine. I mean, that's a caliber player that you don't have on a lot of the other
The only
Eastern
spot that they
teams
would
besides Trey.
it's really I mean, the problem with the East is the first 7 teams that are gonna make the playoffs and then it's just like a toss up for the 8 seed.
Yeah,
I
And I
mean,
don't see why the Bulls
The
can't.
Pacers might not make the playoffs next year with all Depot probably wanting to leave, and then I think there's one more player that
Miles
wanted to leave.
Turner
Yeah,
wanted
Miles
out.
Turner wanted out.
Yeah.
Plus, they don't have a coach right now.
Yeah. I mean, so if I had to guess, I mean, we'll probably still see Nets, Heat, Celtics, Raptors, 76ers, Bucks. That's not in any specific
Yeah.
order, just those 6 teams, and then I guess the last 2
Combination,
seeds
yeah,
will
of
be
some
like a
bottom
toss up.
feeders.
So
The Magic always seem to find a way in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Magic are making it next year. I really don't know
My
why they're ever
favorite
in the playoffs.
my favorite quote, my favorite tweet was the Magic have completed another respectable yet completely forgettable
Yeah.
season. It's just been like that
Yeah.
for like the last 10 years, ever since Dwight
Dwight.
left, really.
And also, like, I think some other Eastern Conference teams that could be good next year are maybe like the Hawks. Like, I
Yeah.
really think they could take a step forward. I think the Wizards, if they can get a good John Wall back, could
Yeah.
easily be a playoff.
Oh, that's
I think
true.
they would easily be a playoff team if they get like a healthy John Wall back to
Yeah.
pair
I mean, what
with
is it about
Bradley
the
Beal.
Hawks that would put them over the top? Though? Okay, so they got Clint Capella, which
Okay,
I don't think he's
more
even played a game for them yet.
John
I
Collins
mean
missed most of the year this year, and he's
more
really
development from Trey. I
But
know
they
Trey
were
was
at the
great.
bottom. They were at
Trey
the
was
bottom.
yeah. But
So
I'm
does
okay.
he
saying
Trey
buy
was
him that
great.
many games?
Well, John Collins missed like 20 plus games to start the year.
I know, but does that buy them all of those games
I'm
between?
just
Not all
saying
I
of
think they
if
were
those
the
they
games, but
13th.
no.
he gets them. Yeah, like for
I'm just
sure, gets them
saying
in that 10 seed range.
okay, they're gonna get a lottery pick this year. I'm assuming they got to sign some pieces to that team, and
Yeah.
with the Trey development, which Trey was already an All-Star starter, but I do feel like you know going into his third year, he's gonna mature and develop more. I
Yeah,
do think the Hawks could be a playoff team next year.
for sure.
I don't know.
I don't think so, but I think they could be.
I feel
I
like they
think they
just
have a
have
better
like
chance than the Bulls for sure.
Yeah, but they would be like an eighth seed. Like they got like the
I don't
same
know
chance
about
the
that.
Bulls do.
I think I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Bulls on this one. I think
But
they're just more ready. I really do.
but who really played for the Bulls this year besides Zach LaVine?
I mean, Lauri Markkinen has
Was ass.
injury. Well, he has a lot. He's had a lot of trouble with injuries. So is Wendell Carter. Kobe
So
White
was
was just a lights out shooter at best, and then at worst he was a brick. So
yeah.
hopefully he'll be able to find some
And they'll
kind
have
of
a pick this year
consistency.
too, the lottery pick. So we'll see what.
Maybe
Yeah.
the Knicks get LaMelo Ball.
Who do
Oh
they
yeah.
have? Wait, the Bulls have.
I don't
Who
know.
else do they have?
I
They have
think we're
Dude,
getting too far ahead though. This is
Chris
going to be in the Eastern
Chris Dunn.
Conference
Chris
predictions.
Dunn. But Chris Dunn was also, he's been dealing with
Yeah.
injuries a lot his early in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a really good piece, and I don't know, man. I just think the Bulls have the pieces, and now they have a coach who was a contender for Coach of the Year. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I do think a
I don't
better
know what
coach is
else.
We'll
definitely
see.
gonna
I don't think they'll be worse. That's for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he will be able to maximize the potential of this team.
They're gonna
But
be
they
a lot
definitely have to
better
make
when Anthony
moves.
Davis goes to Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Zach LaVine and AD is going to be a nice duo.
It's not
I
funny,
would.
man. It's not funny.
That would be
It's not
Wait,
funny.
no, I would
jokes.
hate that. That's just more competition in the East for the Celtics.
I'd love that, but that's obviously not happening.
Nah, it's not
Are
happening.
we moving Philly or New Orleans? I think we go Philly fast though.
I feel like Philly
I
and
think
New Orleans are kind of looking at the same people.
the main
Yeah,
thing to just
Mike D'Antoni and Doc.
recognize, yeah,
Yeah.
the main thing to recognize is that Mike D'Antoni has had a head start in interviewing for both of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Doc his name is now being thrown into the mix, but I think Mike D'Antoni would work best in New Orleans but would have the higher ceiling in Philadelphia if he turns that team into like a really strong transition team. But in the half court, Ben Simmons not shooting, Joel Embiid,
Slow. Yeah.
it's a very strange fit.
I don't like D'Antoni in Philly.
They're also I feel like the 76ers are kind of a mess.
Yeah.
They're kind of going to be a mess for a while. Like they really fucked up this past offseason because now they
For
have
sure.
two immovable contracts in Tobias Harris and Al Horford. So
Yeah.
I feel like if anything, the more intriguing team to coach would be the Pelicans just because they don't have any immovable contracts and they're still really young and you could see
Yeah.
Zion's potential. You can see what Brandon Ingram can do. You can see what Lonzo can do even. Like he can be that playmaker because I
Yeah,
think
and
Lonzo improved a lot this year. But Alex,
yeah, I was gonna say for New Orleans, I really actually like Doc Rivers with that team because if you look at it, Doc Rivers' like best coaching performances with the Clippers were the 2 years after like Chris Paul got traded and then Blake got traded. Like, and I think that's attributed to him actually being forced to like put a scheme in place because when you're running out with like Tobias Harris and Shea and Gallo, I think it's not the same as just giving it to Kawhi and PG and saying go do whatever you want on offense. I think he's like forced to coach, and in New Orleans, I think
And
they'll
they
be
made tough decisions by trading
Tobias
Tobias.
mid-season. Yeah, and um, I like Doc in New Orleans. He's worked with a lot of point guards, obviously CP and Ron. He got Rondo young, so
Yeah,
Doc played point guard.
Shea.
I think Shea. I think he could really help Lonzo's development.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so too.
That would
and
that might
yeah,
be in Doc's best interest. I think Mike D'Antoni is kind of he
That's what
wants
I
to
was
win.
thinking.
He
I
doesn't
yeah.
want
think
to develop a team.
Honestly,
if
it feels like Doc does better with like kind of an underachieving like or a team that's not expected to do much, and he just for some reason maximizes those type of teams better. I don't know. It's weird.
yeah, I think if I had to guess, if we're just gonna assume, it's between Doc Rivers and Mike D'Antoni, I would assume Mike D'Antoni goes to Philly and works out some weird type of lineup with them, and Doc Rivers goes to New Orleans to coach, the young
Yeah,
guys.
that's fine. I like Doc in New Orleans more, but I feel like he might be Phillies higher. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I
Philly just
did
doesn't fit anyone. It doesn't
Yeah,
fit any
it's
player.
yeah,
It doesn't fit any coach.
Doc
So
just
they'll
Doc in
get
New
New
Orleans just
Orleans,
makes
whoever New
sense.
Orleans doesn't pick.
I think Doc in New Orleans makes like a lot of sense
I feel
too.
like it just makes like perfect, not perfect, but it makes like
Yeah.
just makes sense. It just makes
Like
sense.
he was kind of there for like when he first got to Los Angeles, Blake Griffin was mostly known as just a dunker. And I feel like Zion kind of has that rep right now. So maybe he could develop like Zion and Lonzo to be something. Ingram already is something.
Hmm.
And he'll reunite with JJ Redick, Drew Holiday's not it's not that's not a bad team. I think that
No, it's not a
No,
bad team at
they
all.
I
have a
think
pretty good team.
I would think that's a lot better than Philly, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
For
think
sure.
New Orleans is definitely a better team and easier team to work with than the 76ers. The
I mean they're a
76ers,
better fit.
Yeah.
I think I think in any coach's interest, I don't know who would want to go to Philadelphia. Like
Hey
they're
man, if you're
really,
just trying to make ends meet, I would go to Philadelphia. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
other
they're
than that,
really, if
Like even Ty Lue was like he was like ready to take like it seemed like he was getting that Philly job, but now he's probably thinking shit, I'm gonna be coaching the Clippers.
yeah, I
So
think I think Ty Lue should, if he's gonna accept the job anywhere, it should be with the Clippers. But I
that's
really
true.
like
But he is interested in. There is interest that he might go to Philadelphia, but
hmm
this.
that will
I
come out
don't
in the
know,
next few
man.
weeks.
The
I don't
76ers
like
just
Philly for
aren't an
anyone, bro. It's too
intrigue.
much of a
Yeah,
mess. It's too much of a mess.
they're a fucking mess, dude.
Yeah.
Just have JB Bickerstaff take over. I mean, he always
That
takes
fool's in
over. Like,
Cleveland.
Oh
yeah,
god.
I know, but like, just
Yeah.
somehow get him over.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. I mean the other two openings are what is it, Rockets, Indiana. Those are kind of like
Toss
We don't know
ups.
what their
who cares? Yeah.
Indiana is probably going to go down. We don't know what their plan
I
is.
think both Rockets and Indiana are taking a step back regardless. Unless
Rockets
they
for
like
sure,
bring
but
in someone.
Rockets haven't expressed interest in anyone
Pacers will
that we
probably
know
take
of.
a step back.
Doc,
Just
they took a look at Doc apparently. They're looking at him.
Ooh, Doc with Westbrook, that stubbornness.
that's
Ooh,
Oh
tough.
man.
and
That's
James
gonna be
Harden.
horrible. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
Ooh, God.
I don't like
All right,
thinking about that.
let's move on. We do have like an NBA Finals matchup to talk about, which
Yeah, that
happens to be
surprisingly
the
that
most
wasn't our
important
main
thing.
topic.
Yeah. So sorry we went on for like 20 minutes just about coaching. Anyway, so
It's a good
Miami.
combo.
Yeah, it was a good combo. Miami Heat, Los Angeles Lakers in the finals. There's very, very interesting matchup.
Celtics in
You're
6.
obviously, yeah, man, sure.
Did this
Whatever.
man say Celtics in 6? Did I hear that right? Raps in 6. Coming back.
Hey, man, you got to blow the
76ers
Celtics
in
up.
7.
Yeah.
You got to blow the Celtics up. But
All right.
so, anyways, what was I saying?
Uh,
Okay, so it's
we have
definitely an
NBA
interesting
finals
matchup.
on.
Both of these teams, by the way, are in the finals, and last season did not make the playoffs. Barely missed it. I think that's an interesting stat. I said that a couple weeks ago in the group chat. No one responded or anything. It's cool though. It's fine. it's definitely it's going to be interesting between Tyler Hero and some of the young players, Tyler Hero and Kuzma, because Tyler Hero's dating Kuzma's ex-girlfriend, so it's definitely
That's not
look
worse
for
than
that
PG cheating
one-on-one
on Doc's
matchup,
daughter.
and then
No,
getting him
nothing beats.
fired.
Yeah. Getting it.
That's horrible.
Damn.
Yeah, so Lakers, the one thing I don't know, people are saying Lakers are going to demolish them. He'd
They
have
are.
a chance.
I think the Heat will
They've-
put up even more of a fight
Yeah.
than the Nuggets did, honestly.
Well, obviously, they're a finals team,
Yeah,
But also, LeBron is Jimmy's dad.
Ethan, I have to say, I saw this stat. I was like pretty surprised. They're 17-17 against each other for their career.
Really? No
Yeah.
way.
17-17, just 500
Wow.
straight up.
Bro, in 2018, LeBron hit like 3 buzzer beaters in Jimmy Butler's fucking eye. Nah.
So that means there
There's
must have
no
been,
way,
like,
bro. Nah.
Four
LeBron is
teams.
still Jimmy's dad.
3-8 in the playoffs, but 17-17, like as a
Who's
whole.
3? Oh, is Jimmy 3-8 against Braun in the playoffs?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah. You can say Braun is Jimmy's dad. He's hit a few buzzer beaters on him. He's got his number in the playoffs.
yeah.
I'm gonna roll with
Jimmy
it.
Butler's not afraid of anyone, though.
No,
Sorry.
But
it
Jimmy
also
Butler
helps that LeBron
does-
probably had Kyrie and Wade, but
Yeah, it's also not really like I'm not actually serious when I say LeBron is
Yeah.
Jimmy's dad. He just has his number
show.
when it comes to
Alright.
playoffs.
Jimmy, I think Jimmy definitely needs to become that. Like, he's a 20 points per game scorer. I think he needs to add another 5 points per game. And Bam, too. But Bam definitely did step up, especially in that last game against the Celtics.
Bam's gonna have a real tough matchup ahead of him with AD.
And Dwight. But I don't know. I don't see Dwight getting – because this team is smaller. So I don't know if Dwight's getting all those minutes like he did against the Nuggets.
I thought about it, too. Like, you probably put Bam on JaVale. I mean, Bam on AD, but then who guards JaVale? But I think the Heat will force, like, Vogel to make an adjustment again to play AD at the 5 most of the series.
Right. That's the problem is okay, so if you put Dwight on Bam, AD has to guard a perimeter player. And while AD is okay at guarding the perimeter, you have better options to do that.
And I was just
Especially
saying,
you have
as
Duncan
good as a
Robinson,
rim,
you have faster players.
And as good as a rim protector Dwight is, I think the Heat would much rather have like Dwight or JaVale in the paint and have AD more on the perimeter doing his damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But I just
think
who
they'll
would
go
AD
small.
guard on the perimeter?
Jay Crowder would be the only person that he could like match up with in terms of quickness.
I guess Duncan Robinson maybe.
It's a weird
The
matchup.
problem-
No, not Duncan. Duncan's too fast.
I was gonna
AD.
say, like Duncan Robinson and Hero. It's not like, or even Dragic. It's not like they would like size up AD. Like they don't got handles like that. But the way they like move around the floor on screens and stuff,
They're crafty.
Yeah, definitely.
that would give AD the real problem, chasing them around the perimeter.
I really
more so
like
than
if
staying front row.
Bam's in, AD should be on him. I don't really see any other reason to take him off.
I could.
I mean,
Yeah,
you put Dwight on Jokic. So I don't know.
But Jokic
Yeah, no,
is
no,
still
you guys-
really good.
Yeah, no, actually Jokic kind of disappeared in some games.
Yeah,
I think I
Jokic was
forgot to
iffy.
mention that. He definitely disappeared in some games. But either way,
Well,
we're moving on from that.
Also,
I think they
I
are
don't
going to
know.
go small. For the Lakers, the main thing that they need to watch out for is like this 2-3 zone is killing teams, man. Like it's killing the Bucks, killed the Celtics. The number one thing that the Lakers need to do against that, which is tough for them because they're not really known for this, is like just a lot of ball movement. You have to force mismatches with that 2-3 zone. You have to get the zone to break. And other teams haven't been able to do that as much. Hopefully, LeBron, obviously being one of the best players of all time, and Coach Vo being a good coach.
He's very fluid. I think that's good term.
Yeah, he's not afraid to
Adjust.
make an adjust. Yeah, exactly.
nice.
So, what can I say? That's Tinseltown for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We over me, Alex.
Straight up, bro.
We over LA our way, right?
Straight up, bro. Straight up.
I don't know. Those billboards are just so funny. I always thought they were like just really weird. But anyways,
Straight up.
Yeah, Lakers got to get more ball movement.
I think this series is gonna put a lot of pressure on the Lakers shooters. Like they're gonna be needed to knock down some shots.
I
Yeah,
also,
definitely.
like I mentioned in the last podcast, if the Lakers literally just look at the Celtics film against the Heat and realize that they dominated them when they attacked, and they have LeBron and Anthony Davis to attack the rim,
Yeah, that's tough.
that's
That
their.
tends to put you over the top when you have
You
LeBron
think?
James
I
and
mean,
Anthony
the
Davis.
Celtics
Yeah,
dominated the Heat when they did that. Imagine what LeBron and AD can do if they
and
attack the rim
yeah,
like that and they
as
apply the pressure.
the Heat's role players are obviously like a lot better than like the Lakers role players with like Dragic,
I
Robinson,
think the
Hero.
Heat's role players are the best in the league.
Probably, yeah, and in my opinion, they have the better coach too, by a good margin. But at the end of the day, like the gap between AD and LeBron and Jimmy and Bam, it's like
It's huge.
it's not close. Like the
Yeah.
Heat's two best players like don't even come close to Braun and AD, but that's what the Heat have to hope
So
that like
there is some
Hero,
kind of
Robinson go
balance though between
crazy.
the two teams.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
remember, the Lakers have been able to maximize their role players' potentials past what they seem to be able to do.
yeah.
yeah.
I just think that at the end of the day, like the Lakers have too much like firepower for the Heat. As much as like I love the Miami Heat this year, how scrappy they are. Um, Lakers just
They're
have
all
too
right.
much. They're all right.
They're
Yeah,
all right.
AD and LeBron are gonna be too
They're
much.
good, I guess. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing earlier today. It's just, I don't know. I think when you got Braun and AD on your team, it's just too much. Like Alex
Yeah,
just said, but it's just too much. I mean, I really don't think I know Bam was all defensive like second team this year, but AD was all defensive first team
and listen,
and
like
all NBA first team, and Bam didn't. Did Bam make an all NBA team? I don't think he did.
no,
If he
but
did, it was third, but I
No, I don't
don't
think he
think he
did.
did.
yeah,
I
which
think
yeah.
Gobert made third.
But to piggyback off that, Ethan, like the Heat kind of match up well against like LeBron and AD, like probably as well as you can. I mean, Bam has to deal with AD, but Miami could throw like Jimmy, Crowder, and Iggy at LeBron to try
But
to like try to. They have to try their best. That's what I say. Like
They
they'll
do
try
have the
their
LeBron
best.
stopper.
Oh yeah, the guy that robbed Curry a Finals MVP. That guy.
Kelly Olynyk,
Listen.
We're not gonna.
Even
I'm
at
sorry. Why did I
15,
bring that up? I'm sorry.
even at 15, I could see that Iguodala was making the big plays down the stretch. That's
Kelly
all I'm gonna say.
Olynyk. Why are we not
Kelly
talking about?
Olynyk.
Because I brought up Iggy stealing a Finals MVP. I'm
I don't
sorry.
know, man. LeBron said today that he's as locked in as ever. He's about to get on the court, and the Heat are about to see this face.
I have to say, there's no one. Look, I don't think Pat Riley and Spoelstra don't want to beat anyone more than they want to beat LeBron. Like LeBron wanted Spo fired in the first year, and then Pat Riley has some beef with LeBron after he left Miami and like took some subtle shots at him here and there without
But
mentioning.
they're also not on the court.
They're
So
not, but I'm saying like they I'm sure the Heat really like they want this, but that's not going to
I
happen.
mean, they're a finals team with what they got, and they're probably going to get more firepower in the next couple years.
they're
But
gonna
you're just
sign
going to put
another
them that much
superstar.
over the top.
Yeah, Giannis. Mm.
Giannis,
What?
Joel, Chris Paul.
Nah, they don't need Joel. Bam's better fit for them.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
no, I think Joel is probably one of the last like superstars that you would go
Yeah.
after. But
Um,
also, they really just need like I think CP3 would or like Bradley Beal.
yeah, Beal, but they wanted to trade for CP Miami, but they wanted to save that cap space because that 40 million per year is going to be kicking in Chris Paul's
Yeah, but
contract. They
also
want
I think it would take them over the top. If I'm being honest, I think it'd be worth it.
if over the top means losing to the Lakers in 6 instead of 5, then I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
So it's like
Uh,
that. So I think
I
this is
was
the
gonna say,
one.
what
I
are your
think this
guys'
is the.
predictions?
I was gonna say Lakers in 6. I think this is to win 4-1 every series. I just feel like I think they can, but I don't. I think this is the one series where the Lakers actually get like they really get tested. You know what I mean?
I feel like Miami will be their best test like for sure. Other compared to the Blazers, Rockets, and Nuggets, I feel like Miami's definitely the better coach team out of all of those, and they just play better. I don't know, they're just better. Like I like them more than those other teams, but as
Yeah.
much as I want to say Heat in 6, like my gut's telling. I mean, as much as I want to say Lakers in 6, my bad, Lakers in 6. My gut's telling me Lakers in 5.
Yeah, I want to give. I mean, I think the Lakers are going to win. I'm a Laker fan. What am I supposed to do? Um,
Such a
but
tough
I do
path,
want to
man.
give.
You can always give an honest opinion.
Okay, sorry. I mean, that's all I've been doing since the show started, but it's fine. Uh, I
I
do
know
want to give the
not a
Heat.
lot of Laker fans give honest opinions.
That's true. I do want to give the Heat some credit. Like honestly though, if they win, like they just deserve it. Like I can't like.
Yeah, I feel
It's
like
the
me
bubble.
saying Lakers in 5. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect the Heat when I say this, but I just think the Lakers are that much better. So
Yeah, they are. But it is an interesting matchup because LeBron is going up against his former team, and all these teams have both coaches have been able to bring out a lot in their role players.
hmm
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, obviously, but I don't know.
I think the Heat have a slight coaching advantage. Like I don't think it's anything too major. I do think Spo is like definitely a better coach,
Spo's probably the best coach in the league right now, though.
I think
but
I think he's like a
I
four
don't
and a
think
half
it's a
star coach,
I don't think it's
and
like a
like
huge gap though.
I think it's a sizable gap, honestly. I mean, like
Yeah,
Frank Vogel,
I
he
get
gets
that.
credit for his adjustments, but like the guy has fucking LeBron and AD. Like it helps.
yeah, no.
It
I
helps. It
definitely.
helps.
Hey,
Yeah.
Vogel's the guy that almost took out Braun, D Wade, Bosch.
But
So
also Spo has achieved a lot more with less.
This
Like
year,
I know they're
for
both in the
sure.
finals, so technically they've like achieved the same amount, but like when it comes to expectations,
No one expected Miami in the finals. If someone expected that, you're a capper, straight
yeah,
up.
it's tough,
That was
but
me. Yeah.
good for Miami, man. Good
I'm
for
happy for
Miami.
I'm happy for Jimmy too.
They're my second favorite team this season.
fuck Miami.
Okay,
you know
whatever.
what?
Salty Celtics fan. Hey, you should blow your team up, by the way.
Fuck all those teams that
Yeah, let's
like
trade Tatum for
gave
Cat.
Jimmy a bad name. Like the Bulls gave Jimmy a bad name. The T Wolves did. Philly even kind of gave
Now
Jimmy
look at
like
that.
the
They all
Philly
vibe
fucking
just
of
didn't want to deal with him.
they all
yeah.
just fucking suck.
The Knicks, like a report came out saying the Knicks didn't like Butler's leadership style when they went after him in free agency. Like, okay, fine, go ahead, watch Jimmy in the finals
Yeah, they
now.
think he's like some you know like jerk, and then he's all in these
I
interviews.
know,
He's like, "Look,
I know.
man, I
Did you
just want
see
to win.
the
I
dude
want
was
these
wearing
guys to
Spoelstra's
succeed."
high school jersey?
Yeah, and Tyler
That was
Hero's
funny.
Yeah, like
college
that's
jersey.
dope as hell.
The Spolstra high school jersey was funny.
Like that's dope. I
Nah,
really
the
like
Heat
Yeah,
are
Jimmy.
cool.
no, but
I'm
I
not
mean,
mad. I don't
even
hate the
hear
Heat.
Jimmy saying like, I want these guys to score more than me. I want these guys to do
Yeah,
better than me."
but
So
my
Teams
mind's
missed out
telling
big
me
time.
Lakers, but man, my heart, how much
my
it would hurt the Heat
body,
to win. Ugh.
My
my mind's
body's
telling me
telling me
no.
no.
The Miami Heat are going to need some 2011 Mavs magic against LeBron to win
They
this series.
really are. They
That's what they're
really
going to
are.
need. That's what they're going to need.
I mean, hey. Also, I think the bubble has helped the Heat out a little bit. I'm just saying.
For sure.
As a fifth
No doubt.
seed,
I was going
not
to say,
having to play
like,
any away games.
like they swept Indiana, but like they were the 5th seed in that series. So like the first 2 games would have been in Indiana. And I think for sure the outcome's a little different in that series. The bubble has helped them for sure. No doubt.
No Sabonis either.
True. True.
But, I'll give them credit where it's due, I guess.
Credit to
Yeah,
them, man.
no, I think for sure, like people are, I think starting to discredit Miami a little bit. I think we should
Yeah.
definitely give Miami their props. I mean, they've been able to fix
Low key,
problems that.
Miami ain't shit.
What?
Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude, I'm in the middle of like saying why we should. Yeah,
Well, I'm
no,
telling you,
they've
we
been able
shouldn't
to
give them props.
exceed expectations and exceed their level of talent. This finals matchup, I think, is going to be really interesting because they're other than Bam being such a like dynamic player, it's definitely going to be like a very traditional kind of finals matchup, something out of like the '90s. I think it's not going to be very high scoring, and this
I could see that.
matchup is also good because these teams haven't met since December. I also wanted to bring up one thing, and it's really cool how in this age where big men aren't like appreciated or anything, that 3 of the last 4 remaining teams in the bubble had all-star big men. obviously the Celtics were the only one that didn't. And it just goes to show, like, it's nice to see that we still have a place for
I
our
feel that too,
7-footers,
bro.
yeah.
Zubac should have been the fourth big man.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's okay.
Zubac should have been the 4th All-Star center.
Yeah. Sad.
Oh God.
I can't wait to pick him
Oh,
for
wait,
most
actually it would have been
improved next
3rd
year.
because
Well,
Zubac most improved? Is
Jokic
that what you're
and
going
can't-
for?
or Jokic.
I said I said I
Gobert.
can't wait to pick him for most improved next year.
Oh, okay.
But then after the first regular season game when Ty Lue plays him 12 minutes, I'll just be pissed again. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
I think Ty Lue's smarter than that.
For sure.
But
All right, then.
anyways,
I mean, I guess if
Max,
there's
you didn't
anything
give
else,
your prediction though. Well, what's your pick?
yeah.
Lakers.
In?
Look,
No, you gotta
I'm
say
so
in.
bad at. I'll say Lakers in 5, but I'm not holding it to it. I'm just gonna say
Lakers
Lakers.
in 5-2. It's all good.
Yeah, I think.
Speaking into existence. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Lakers are beating the Heat easily.
Look, man, it is what it is. Also, this is a weird. I don't know. I never expected like a finals matchup between these two franchises, with the exception of the 1 year Kobe was supposed to meet the Heat, but it never happened. So.
Yeah. With that Dwight in that year, and now Dwight gets to play Miami.
Yeah, it is. So I would say like it's an odd time for these two teams to be meeting up.
Yeah. No one expected the Heat for sure in the finals. Lakers.
Yeah.
Story.
And either way, that's just. I mean, people just thought it would be Clippers, Bucks, Lakers, Bucks. So
Also, I want to say one thing. Laker fans on like Twitter especially really need to shut the fuck up about the whole underdog bullshit.
That's true.
We're not underdogs.
No, the thing
That's
that
not. You have LeBron fucking James on your team. You're not an underdog.
No.
Just because people didn't pick you to win the finals doesn't mean you're an underdog. You still had just as good of a chance all year. Everyone said, "Oh, it's gonna be whoever wins between the Lakers and Clippers." That's what it was all fucking year. And all I saw on fucking Twitter after the Lakers clinched the series was, "Oh, this is a great underdog story." Blah blah. Like, no. You have fucking Anthony Davis and
it's
LeBron
not an underdog
James.
story. It's not an underdog story.
The only thing
I just gotta get that off my chest. All you
As
Laker
the
fans saying
Laker
that shit,
fan,
shut the fuck up.
as the Laker fan, it's not even close to an underdog story.
I saw a tweet literally saying this is the greatest underdog story in sports history, and I was like,
Greatest with 2 top 5 players in the NBA and the first seed in the West.
I was like, dude, there's
Sure.
absolutely no way you mean
Bro,
that.
when
Like,
Ethan brought up the underdog story, I
that's
saw
the
a tweet
ultimate cap.
that like I agree with 100%. Like the Laker fans that are like acting like they've been like a piss poor franchise. It's like, oh, I lived through these bad lineups. It's like, stop playing the shitty franchise role, dog. You're the Lakers.
No,
You're the
I
Lakers.
disagree with that.
Nah,
I disagree with
I
that.
don't care.
Who did we get? What major free agents did we get in that 7-year stretch? Roy
Dog,
Hibbert?
you were shit for 7 years and got gifted with AD and LeBron, and you guys
Straight,
are acting
though.
like a piss
7
poor
years
franchise.
straight.
Hey, man.
I get it. But you're a Clippers fan. But that's an extreme example.
Well, I'm just
Like
saying.
the Lakers were one of the franchises. I think
Laker
the Lakers
fans are a little over dramatic about that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
7 years we didn't make the playoffs in a row.
Bro, when was the
Kobe's
last
last
time?
season was 7. We had a 17-65 record. 17-65.
There are teams that go through way worse.
Yeah.
17.
I'm talking about missing the playoffs for 7 straight years.
Dog, you missed the playoffs and got AD and LeBron. Well, we should feel
The Clippers
bad.
haven't
Wait,
made
hey,
a
you know
conference
what? One
finals
of
for
the-
54
we should feel
years.
so bad for you guys. I mean, wow. You guys really you grinded it out, man.
I hated
wasn't-
it.
It
I
wasn't
hated
even
it.
really a rebuild. They
Dude,
just
the Lakers
got
weren't
lucky
making the
one
playoffs,
offseason.
and then the Warriors had KD. It was like I had no reason to watch basketball. I was just like, dude, whatever.
The KD Warriors were fun as hell. People are just salty. That's what
No,
I'm ending the
they're
pod on.
not.
That's what
They
I'm
were
ending the
not.
pod. I
No.
miss them, and everyone else misses them.
No, I don't miss them at all.
I'm
Oh,
good.
I'm good.
I like
like
KD on the Nets,
competition in
though.
the
I
league.
fuck with KD on the Nets.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Is
I
that
guess that's all we got for
That's
today.
all I got now.
Sorry for
Just-
just rambling on.
Just
Yeah.
cut the underdog bullshit, Laker fans. Come on.
Yeah.
Just cut it out. It's so bullshit.
God,
But, happy for you guys to get your 17th ring.
No,
I'm
you're
not
not.
happy.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. You guys aren't happy.
I hope the Heat pull it out somehow, but,
I might not be happy you're winning, but at least I didn't say bullshit like they're gonna lose every series just because I want them to lose.
yeah.
That's
I mean, you guys just aren't biased fans.
yeah.
I mean, you do have your biases in some ways, but
I said
like,
Heat in 5
overall,
every series.
Yeah.
Or not Heat in 5, Lakers in 5 every series.
Yeah.
that's
Lakers
true.
in 5, 17 on the way.
No, you
I'm
made a
done.
bet with Jacob. You're saying
Oh,
that the
no.
Trailblazers are going to win another
Before
game.
the series started, I said Lakers in 5. But after the Blazers won one game, I was like, oh, I can make $20 easily. They got to win at least one more game. But no,
Yeah.
they lost 4
This is
straight.
rambling on, dog.
Yeah, all
I
right,
don't
we'll
care.
end it here.
Whatever, man.
So from the contested NBA, it's getting late. That's why we're all just rambling. So from the contested NBA podcast, I'm Max Tepper,
I'm Ethan Cope.
Alex Toma.
and this has been a pleasure. We will be seeing you guys. We'll be seeing you guys after we crown a champion. So, deuces. If you guys heard anything you guys disagree with, go ahead and contest it. Like, share, subscribe. Do everything you can to support the podcast. We will see you guys next time.
All right.
Later.
Peace out.